So Canoo is a mobility company that is leading the transformation in the way that vehicles are designed, engineered, and manufactured. We have one skateboard that we can use for multiple markets, and that includes both the B2B and the B2C market. And we like to call it B2All, to be able to go after wherever that largest total addressable market is for us.
The manufacturing process, Paul, any insight you can shed into that for us?
Our path forward was to find a world-class contract manufacturer that's been doing this for many years, produces vehicles for all of the top companies out there, and to be one of their first partners in terms of developing EVs. We wanted to be able to stick to our core competencies of design and engineering and really rely on partners to build the vehicles for us, because quality is important, and you also want to make sure that you get that process right, and there are no delays when you get to start a production.
Any update on the B2C side of your business, demand for last mile delivery especially?
After we announced our SPAC transaction, we really did raise our public profile because we were really in stealth mode prior to that. We do believe that we are very uniquely positioned with the product that we do have. And we're starting to see that come in from some of the demand side with the inbounds that we're receiving for last mile delivery. We created a very small skateboard that has is very short from bumper to bumper, but it has a lot of interior space. And we think this is the perfect solution for last mile delivery. But what's critical is within that class, we do have to go through a full crash program at that weight and that size. And out of all of the other players that I've seen on the street today, that's like one of the biggest challenges is getting through that program, especially if you're looking at a last mile delivery.
In terms of the consumer response to this, the design, feedback, what's that been like?
It's certainly a very unique looking vehicle, very different type of product that's out there. We had the reveal back in September of last year. The feedback was overwhelmingly positive. And that's really one of the unfortunate parts as well with us being on lockdown. We can't get the product out there on the road in front of more consumers, because that's one way that you can really understand kind of what it is that we're doing. We do have a wait list. We announced 10,000 orders already, and a large majority of them here in California, which is our first home market. But that wait list has grown since we announced the deal, and we're excited to make additional announcements in the future. I also think that coming out of COVID, you're going to see a number of different use cases in terms of utilization is increasing, but consumers are going to be using vehicles in different ways. So for example, they may not needed 2 vehicles, but they were signed up for a 3-year lease for each of those vehicles. I think this is a great opportunity to show that subscription or other types of models, flexible leasing models, become pretty interesting in these kind of scenarios.
You know, if you've got a wish list of things that you want, I mean, here's your opportunity now to put it out there in the universe.
From our perspective, it's one, support with boots on the ground, putting in that infrastructure that we know electric vehicles are going to need to support players such as Blink in terms of putting that there, because range anxiety still is a real thing. And that's something that we need to manage with consumers. And even with the fleet managers, their demands are pretty high. So being able to work with the state to have that hard infrastructure in place is absolutely critical for the long-term success here. But then also, as we're getting to industrialization and commercialization of our products, it's supporting us through partnerships and then also through investments into the operations as well. Incentives and grants are great. We look forward to seeing more of them out there, but we see those as opportunistic versus something that we need to be successful today.
A lot of questions about the merger. Is it still Q4?
It's a process where we're on file with the SEC, and that just takes its time. And then as you start looking into December, you have the holidays there. So we're continuing to push on that timing, but it's really in the hands of the SEC and their feedback.